morning's speaker. During his time at Jesuit, he served as vice president of the student council and was a member of the National Honor Society. He was voted most dependable by his peers and was co-captain of the swim team his senior year. After Jesuit, he received his bachelor's and law degree from the University of Virginia. He then went on to become a partner at Carlton Fields, one of the oldest and most prestigious law firms in Florida. He currently serves as the president and CEO of the University of Virginia Law School Foundation, where he oversees one of the largest endowment funds in the country. And he's come here today to share with you his Jesuit experiences. Please welcome one of our own from the class of 1981, Mr. Lou Alvarez.
It's a little scary how much biographical information is kept on one after one leaves here. That was very nice, and I want to thank Nico for the very kind introduction. I also want to thank John Alvarez for helping arrange this as well. It's always wonderful to be back here. And I want to thank somebody else who I happen to see in the back. That's my father. He worked very hard every day of his life to make possible the education I received here. And I'm very grateful for that. It's a privilege to be here and to be back in the same chapel where I sat every morning as a member of the class of 1981. We were a much smaller school then. My freshman class began with 132 boys, and we graduated 126. Today, Jesuit enrolls about 750 students and has a faculty and a campus not only dedicated to your success, but worthy of its mission. This school has a unique sense of place. There is a movie, Up in the Air, starring George Clooney. He plays a frequent flyer who lives in airplanes and hotels with no real home. He seems to like it that way, until the moment that he reaches his ultimate goal, 10 million miles flown, which entitles him to a special chat in mid-flight with the chief pilot of American Airlines. The pilot comes out to congratulate him and asks, "Where are you from?" After a long pause, Clooney answers. "Here," he says, looking around the cabin, "meaning, sadly, nowhere at all." I now live in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I travel a fair amount in my work too. When I am asked where I'm from, I say without hesitation that I am from Tampa. And by Tampa, I mean in no small part Jesuit. This was the home of my adolescent development, of my intellectual and spiritual formation. As you are experiencing for yourself, I was tested in and out of the classroom. I made memories and friends, and in time I admired more and more the wisdom of my teachers, just as eventually you will. Altogether, this made for a rich community that I carry with me wherever I go. When I left Jesuit, I went to a school that also cherishes fellowship and excellence and is renowned for its physical grounds, the University of Virginia. UVA was founded by Thomas Jefferson, a leader of the American Enlightenment, so broadly educated and curious that President Kennedy, when he assembled the Nobel laureates from the Western Hemisphere for a dinner in 1962, said to them, "I think this is the most extraordinary collection of talent, of human knowledge that has ever been gathered together at the White House," with the possible exception when Thomas Jefferson died alone. If you notice, this chapel is located at the center of campus. That was a feature of institutional architecture and design that prevailed throughout Christendom for centuries. It was intended as a reminder that mankind, for all of its growing advances in the arts and sciences, descended from God and was beholden to him. In a provocative move, Jefferson, when he planned the University of Virginia, put at the center of the grounds not a chapel, but the iconic rotunda, a secular temple of books and first editions that served as the university's library and would later become the inaugural collection of the Library of Congress. What inspired Jefferson to see things differently? For starters, he traveled, and he was keenly interested in exploration. He was a native Virginian, but he commissioned the Lewis and Clark expedition that charted the Northwest Passage, and before he became president, he was the minister to France, as well as the Secretary of State. He returned to the United States as a pilgrim of foreign lands, and a believer, as he called it, in the illimitable freedom of the human mind. The Jesuits hailed from a similar spirit. St. Ignatius of Loyola undertook a post-conversion pilgrimage to the Holy Land, and he often signed his letters as the pilgrim. He trekked to avoid comfort and to strengthen his devotion. He asked hard questions of himself and of his followers to affirm their path was true. The reputation he gained for his legacy, the Society of Jesus, was of a serious-minded order characterized by integrity along every dimension. As a fresh convert, St. Ignatius was an idealist. After his pilgrimage, he acquired purpose, he learned how to get things done, and he expanded the influence of the church. So what does all this have to do with you? Well, I had the pleasure of watching the video of Mayor Bob Buckhorn when he spoke at Convocation last month. As an aside, I loved his warning that he knows many of your parents. It so happens that I also know many of your parents when we were teenagers, and they should be grateful that I don't tell you what I know about them. In any event, Mayor Buckhorn is a powerful champion of my hometown, and his appeal that you stay and become pillars of Tampa is understandable. But I would ask you to consider a different proposition. Jesuit is not just a gateway to civic and business leadership in Tampa. It is a starter kit for self-discovery. It is a map that shows you are here, but with many possible destinations. Mayor Buckhorn wants to claim you, but so does the world. I would argue that pilgrimage was not just essential to St. Ignatius, but that it is a mandate of your Jesuit education. The point of your studies, of having this place in your heart, is so you can search and never be lost. The difference between you and George Clooney's character is that you know where you are from, even if you don't yet know where you are going. But the similarity between you and Thomas Jefferson is that because you know where you are from, you are prepared to depart from the past and to seek the future. So embrace this place every day you are here, for it is an important part of your DNA. Then, when you graduate, remember it. But do not worry about it, not even for a second. It will always be here, and it will always be with you. You are not a Jesuit to determine where you will live, but rather how you will live. So my charge to you is this: live boldly and do good wherever and everywhere you can. The world will be lucky to have you. Good luck.